The view. The view from basement rooms is rather small. A patch or two of green, a bit of sky. Children heard but never seen an old wall, two trees, a washing line between windows with high curtains to block the outward eye. It seems that nothing changes, nothing grows. Nissim Ezekiel is the poet of these lines, and these lines are of the poem a poem of dedication. And this is a philosophical poem in a romantic strain. According to Nissim Ezekiel, nothing is changing, okay, nothing changes, nothing grows, nothing is changing, and nothing is growing in life. In literature also, Nissim Ezekiel, the poet, is sitting in the room which is situated in the basement, and he is trying to view the world from the basement room. It looks very small. It looks rather small. So the room from the basement, it looks very small. One or two green patches, a bit of sky, two trees, an old wall can be seen there. So the poet is hearing noise of children, a washing line between high curtains and the outward eye. Children heard but never seen. So he hears here noise of children where they are playing with each other, but the poet could not see them but never seen. Okay, children are playing, but the poet is unable to see them. So the poet could not see them. And windows. There are windows in the basement, but they are covered with high curtains. Windows are covered with high curtains. Due to these curtains, the poet is unable to see outside world, block the outward eyes. He cannot see outside world properly. So that's why that he says that nothing is changing and nothing is growing in life and in literature. So according to him, this world is static and he wants to change this world. Suddenly he realizes and he starts thinking how he can do this. So here we find that the style of Nissim Ezekiel is very attractive and it is very grand. But suddenly the mind is loosed on chains and purifies itself before the warm Mediterranean which fills the veins to make the body beautiful and light. Heaviness of limbs or soul can mimic calm. I close the eye to see with better sight. Suddenly, what happens with the poet? Suddenly, a view of the Mediterranean, Mediterranean landscape, it flashes across his mind. So the poet in the poem, he recollects to his emotions associated with the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, sea, and he enjoys the calmness of his mind and soul, and the thoughts are freed from the binding chains. But suddenly the mind is loosed from or on chains. So Mediterranean is just like a sea, and this word is very important for the examination. It is the name of a sea. And what happens with the poet, that the thoughts are freed from the binding chains. So in other words we can say that the chains of thought of the poet are loosened, and he views before his inner eyes, before the warm before his inner eyes of the vast sea. So the vision of the vast sea purifies his mind and soul and makes his body light, and his nerves and his veins are calm and quiet. Okay, the veins to make the body beautiful and light can mimic calm. So he closes his eyes and in order to have a better view of the sea. So he sees life in the sea, but the growth of the organic life, okay, growth of the organic life seems to him rather slow. So the poet he soon realizes that there is a time for everything in life. I close the eye to see with better sight. So there is a time for everything in life, and he thinks that things can be changed gradually. So here this word Mediterranean Sea is expressed here only to present the emotion. There is a landscape, certainly the sea, among its broad realities, attracts because it is a symbol of the free demonia life within, hardly suggested by the surface facts and rivers what a man can hope to win. So, after realization that there is a specific time for every change in life, there is a vast landscape before the mental vision of the poet, but it is the sea. It is the sea that most attracts him. He thinks that sea life is free from all foundations and chains because they can roam whatever or wherever they want to roam around. But because it is a symbol of the free, but according to the poet, growth of organic life is slow, whereas sea is vast and free from all devilish forces, that is demonia life within, which can affect man's life. So the poet compares here sea life with surface life. According to him, sea life is better than surface life because hardly suggested by the surface facts. And why the sea life is better than surface life? Because there are no complications under the sea. They can do whatever they want to do. The poet says that sea life can hope to win and reverse what a man can hope to win. So sea life can hope to win, but surface life has to face so many foundations and hurdles to achieve their wishes. So in this stanza the poet compares between surface life and the sea life. By simple flowing, learning how to flow, and trees imply an obvious need of roots. Besides that, all organic growth is slow. Both poetry and living illustrate. Each season brings its own peculiar fruits, a time to act, a time to contemplate. So here these lines are very important, a time to act, a time to contemplate. Each season brings its own peculiar fruits. And now in this stanza here the poet Nissim Ezekiel, he is focusing on the fact that there is a time for everything. Everything in life, each season brings its own peculiar fruits. So everything in life happens on its own time. The sea is a symbol of free, we can say that of free desire, free dream, of freedom from devilish forces working within a man. The rivers are seen by simple flowing. The rivers are seen flowing and falling into devil free sea, and the trees are also rivers. The trees are also and trees imply an obvious need of roots. So the trees are also seen growing. And Nissim Ezekiel, the poet, he sees life, besides that all organic growth is slow. He sees life in the flowing rivers and growing trees expanding their roots. Besides growth of the rest, organic life seems rather slow. So both poetry and the living world highlight these facts of life, this fact of life, and he realizes very soon that there is a time for meditation, contemplate, okay, meditation, as each and every has its own time and importance. Every change has its importance, peculiar fruit. So there is a time for everything. So here the poet, he focuses on importance of time, and these lines also remind us William Wordsworth's theory of poetry. The image is created, try to change, not to seek release, but resolution, not to hanker for a wide. God-like range of thought, know the matador's dexterity. So, not to seek release, but resolution. In these lines, he expresses his will to control desires within his human limits. And what he says, okay, what he says, the image is created, try to change. He says that it is a special advantage to be a human without desiring for salvation, not to seek release but resolution. So we must not try to find out the salvation, we must not have a desire for salvation, but we must try to get, or we must try to find out the truth. Means we must work hard in search for truth about our own identity, what we are, for what we have come here, what is our aim. So, not to hanker for a wide, it is neither practical nor sensible to have a strong, often restless desire to acquire superhuman qualities. So, one should, okay, what one should do, one godlike range of thought, know the matador's dexterity. So what one should do, one should restrain ambitions within limits of human achievements. Matador's dexterity, and we should develop one's psychic frame of existence within the limits of human existence. We all have uh, our there is a limit of our power, and we all must be aware of our this weakness or our this limit. I do not want the yogi's concentration. I do not want the yogi's concentration. I do not want the perfect charity of saints, nor the tyrant's endless power. Endless power. I want a human balance, humanly acquired, fruitful in the common hour. So I don't want the yogi's concentration. Here he is using these kinds of words: yogi's concentration, saint's charity, or tyrant's endless power, only to sketch or to represent superhuman qualities. So here he is sharing his views to grow as a human being, within human limits. And he expresses his unwillingness. I do not want, I do not want. So he is expressing here unwillingness to have superhuman qualities like saintly concentration or powers of a dictator. Rather, that is endless power of a dictator. He what he wants, rather he wishes to acquire. I want a human balance. He wishes or he wants to acquire what? Human qualities within human limits. This not only reflects his own philosophy but also sketches the need of the modern time, acquired fruitful in the common hour. So, no doubt these lines are very important, and they are we find here because they are representing or they are reflecting a modern Indian view about the life in contrast with traditional Indian religious and ethical tone in the sphere of human existence. This Elizabeth is my creation. Stated in terms of poetry, I offer it to you in dedication. So, this word Elizabeth is very beautifully, it is bounced here and as a metaphor. This Elizabeth is my creation. So in these three lines, what he shows the path of humanity without mentioning any traits of traditional ethics and morality. I offer it to you in dedication. So these are the concluding lines. Okay, the last lines, the concluding lines of Nissim Ezekiel's this poem, a poem of dedication, a poem of dedication. And here he offers his gratitude towards what? Towards the human talent of poetry writing, and also he fulfills his genuine commitment towards other fellow beings. I offer it. So he rejoices over his human quality in these concluding lines, and he shows his deep concern with his poems and offers the same to his readers. I offer it to you his readers, and he appreciates his humanly quality in a human way. So he also initiates a process of interaction between his joy and joy of others. So this was the poem, a poem of dedication. This was your complete poem, okay, prescribed poem of your syllabus, a poem of dedication.